Okay, now we're back and we're going to start talking about collections. So what I need to do is I need to have some way of starting to put these guys into collections. So I'm going to come over here and click on the Collections tab. And now you can see that I have one collection already, and this was Jacob Chan is a former evening student and all that kind of stuff. So I just created the folder and put some stuff in there dealing with what he had done for the Hyde Park assignment that we did in our class once. I think I was going to create a PDF tutorial or something along that line. Anyways, so I have one collection already, and it may or may not actually function because it may have something to do with the images that are sitting on that external drive. So I'm not even going to click on that. But down at the bottom here, we have two little folder icons, and those are the little, anyways, it doesn't matter, you can see them. And one of them has a plus sign, and the other one has a cog wheel. The first one is creating a new collection. The second one is creating a smart collection, and I'll get into that a little bit later. First of all, what I want to do is I want to create a new collection, so I click on this, and now I get the opportunity to give this collection a name. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to call this ALASKA, Alaska. Alaska Cruise. Fair enough. Hit the enter key. Because of the alphabet ascending descending order, we end up with that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over to my raw files here, and I want to take all of these guys and put them in that collection over there. So click on the first one, Command A, to select them all, and then all I'm going to do is with my cursor click, hold, and drag, and when I start to drag you're going to see that little multiple image thing here, and I'm just going to come over here, and when the yellow lines on top and bottom of the collection you want, and you see the plus sign, if that all shows up and appears, then you just release your mouse, and now it says that I have 7 images in that collection. They're still in their original folder, so it's kind of like a reference that goes into that collection. So now I'm going to come back over to this guy, click once on this, Command A to select those guys, click and drag down, and then come over here, and once I'm in that right place, I'll release. I can't tell you how important that is, because if you're in too much of a rush, you may end up putting your images in the incorrect folder. As I'm sure it's happened many times to you, it's happened a couple of times to me. All right, so there we go, there's that one. And now I come over to this, and here's a singleton, and we just come over and put that in there. So now I could come in and check all these guys out individually, or I can actually just come over here to my Alaskan collection. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to expand this a little bit, and then we can start to, actually let me expand it a little bit more so we can get a better idea of what's going on with these images, and maybe I'll just make them all a little bit smaller by dragging this little bar down here. There we go. So now what I want to do is I want to get you guys used to and introduced to star rating your images and possibly using the colored labels to indicate what you want to do after you're finished in Camera Raw. In other words, you might want to use a colored label to indicate that you don't need to do anything else. These images out of Camera Raw, everything that you were able to do and enhance and fix your image, you were able to do in Camera Raw, and it's good to go. Give that a colored label. So you can actually ignore those ones and now start looking at the next colored label, which would mean that you might want to do some retouching. And then another colored label could be specific retouching for models' faces or brides' faces or something along those lines. And another one could be that you want to, another color could be set aside for possibly watermarking your images when you put them up on the web. You know what I mean? So we have a number of things. Now, first of all, if we go under the label menu, we'll see that we have ratings, and there's star ratings come in here, and then we have the label options, which are different things. So I've renamed my labels, and you can rename yours, and I'll show you how to do that very shortly. But I've renamed mine to Retouch, Garbage, Before After Images, Images for Course, Photo Lab. You can rename them at any time and call them whatever it is that you want to. I just randomly created some names so you can see that I changed them. You want to see where you can change those names, you go under Bridge and you go to the Preferences, Command K. And in that resulting dialog box, if it ever shows up. Oh, come on. There you go. And we click on, in the category section, we click on labels, and then you can come in and rename these to whatever it is that you want. Notice that the purple color does not have a keyboard shortcut. And that's because you can't do Command 10. And you end up doing either Command 1 or a 0, and you'd be doing something totally different. So anyways, that's where I go in and change those things. So now if we go back under here, we can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. We have keyboard shortcuts for everything, and 1 star is Command 1, Command 2, Command 3. And then as you can see that we've got different 6, 7, 8, 9, and this one is a specific one where we have to come to the menu system. I'd like you to get used to using the Command or Control 1, 2, 3, as opposed to coming up here, selecting an image, coming over here, choosing that, go down, come up, and all that kind of stuff. All right, it's really, really easy, and I think it's a very good idea to get involved in doing your star rating at a minimum. So now with star rating at a minimum going on, what we need to do is think about the quality of your images and try not to give any image a star rating higher than 3. And my reasoning for this, because everybody wants to go 5. Why? Because 5 is the top. Yay! All right, never mind that stuff. So what I'm getting at is if you are working today on your images and you say, wow, this one's amazing, and it, in my mind it is, then I would give it a 5-star rating. And then in 5 years from now, when I've become a much better photographer and much more discerning in choosing which images are really good and which ones aren't, I may come back and take a look at this image and go, it is nice, but it's not really worth 5 stars. So what I'm saying is, in the beginning, give your images a 1, 2, or 3-star rating, and then allow yourself some room to grow over the next 5 to 10 years, and then possibly go in another 2 or 3 years, say, okay, now it's time to move up to the 4-star rating, and then a 5-star rating. You want to have this pyramid structure that you have your 1 stars at the bottom, and then gradually your 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, and 5 stars. And if you had 10 1 stars, you know what I'm saying, or 100, and then, less and less and less and less and less. And so in other words, your 5-star actually means something in 5 years from now. So your 3-star should mean something at this point in time, your best images. So if I'm going through this, I might want to come in here and say, well, these are all my 1 stars. They all were 1 stars when I actually created the collection. So I'm going to go in here, Command A, and select them all. And I'm just going to come down here and choose Command 1. So now they all have 1 stars. And this is where I'm starting my collection from, because I took these 1 stars from individual folders, let's assume, and created my collection and said, okay, now these are the ones that I'm going to use for whatever purpose. So now I have to look through these guys and say, all right, which ones are better than the 1 stars? So let's look through this, and I think I like this one. I'm not sure if I like this one or this one based on, rule of thirds and all this kind of stuff, where I've got, well, that's 50%, so that's it. So there you go. So Command 2. And this one here is definitely better than a 1 star. This one here is definitely better than a 1 star. This one is definitely better than a 1 star, so it's going to get a 2. And I like this one, and I like this one. So now I have a number of different stars going on in this collection, and I have 1 stars and I have 2 stars. So the question now is, how many do I have of each? Well, if I can come over to my filter section over here, we can start seeing that we've got some extra information coming on over here. And over here you can see that I have 14 images that have 1 star, and I have 6 that have 2 stars. So now let's look over here and just kind of quickly go through these once again, and I kind of like that one, so I'm going to give it a 2 star. You can see my numbers are changing here slightly. And I'm looking at this and saying, okay, let's just come through. There's got a bridge, I like that one too. So I'm just going to give that one there. Now you can see that I'm changing the way things are going here. So what I want to do now is I want to just quickly take a look at all my 1 stars. I just click on that, and it hides, for the time being, my 2 stars. And I'm going, I may want that one to be a 2-star as well. So as soon as I give it a command 2, it's actually going to disappear from this viewing. And I come over to here and I click on this guy. When I click on that, I'm showing everything because I'm showing all my 1-stars and my 2-stars. If I turn off my 1-stars, I now have these guys. From these guys, I want to determine which ones are my 3-stars. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to look at this one. I'm going to say that one is definitely a 3-star. It's gone. This one absolutely is a 3-star. And I like this one a lot, so that one's going to be a 3-star as well. And then I'm just wondering, I think this one, with some enhancements in Camera Raw and Photoshop, I think this one could be a really good image as well. So there's my 3 stars. So now I have 3 stars from 9. I have 4 now that are actually worthy of me spending some extra time. Does this make sense to you guys? So this is what I'm looking for you guys in the assignments that you're getting. Is I need you to create the star rating system, and we're going to get into labeling things in the next video.